Hello and welcome to a very special episode of Mike and Dave's Hi-Fi Riff. Because, David, what are we going to be talking about today?
We're going to be talking about the new Musical Fidelity, the reborn Musical Fidelity A1 mic.
Which we saw on our holidays.
And I've got one.
Look at that. Amazing. Bears a remarkable similarity to the old one which you had as well, doesn't it? In fact, it's really difficult to tell them apart. So let's rewind, shall we? So at the Munich High End show, which we've just come back from. Well, actually, we came back a week or so ago.
Yeah,
you haven't been very well, mate, have you? You've been a bit under the weather, haven't you?
I got COVID at Munich. I got the German variant.
Yeah, from a stein of beer, no doubt.
Something like that.
Yes.
It was, but it was efficient. It got on with the job of making me feel ill, and then kind of left, as it were. So
well, it's nice to have you back.
Yes, thank you very much.
And we did have a lovely time, and I really enjoyed it. My first trip to Munich.
Yeah,
I thought it was a great city.
Yeah,
and I thought the show was brilliant, actually.
Yeah.
And the show was packed with, and it is called the Munich High End for a reason, with some, oh my gosh, expensive equipment.
Yeah.
We saw the launch of the Wilson
Benesch
GMT turntable, which is going to be about £279,000.
Yes,
which is
got my order in.
For two, one for the bedroom system.
Yeah, absolutely.
Kind of last word in turntables. And actually, to be fair to the Wilson guys, it was the most brilliant presentation which we saw, because they really sort of went into the fine detail of how you can justify spending £279,000 on a turntable, and at the end of it, it almost felt cheap. Because of all the technology and the R&D that's gone into it.
We can confirm it's not a kind of turbocharged Thorids.
No,
that's certainly not.
Gosh, amazing, sort of real high tech bit of kit. But actually, and with all the respect in the world to the Wilson guys and all the other high end people there were probably three products we were super interested in.
Yep.
And they were probably the cheapest products at the whole of the show, weren't they?
Yes.
One of them you have in your lap.
Yeah.
Although we need to probably do a bit of full disclosure here, don't we?
It's actually my original. So.
But you'd never know the difference because two reasons. One, you haven't switched it on. If you switched it on, you know the difference.
Yep.
Because the LED is a different colour. In fact, it's not an LED, is it?
It's not an LED. It's a neon on the original.
It's a neon on the
original.
New
one is a red neon on the original. The new one has a blue LED.
Which hold that thought.
Yes.
Because that sounds very familiar to something else we're going to be talking about in a minute. And also, on the side, I can see yours doesn't have any vents, which is why it gets hotter than the sun.
Yes.
And you can fry eggs on it.
It's a solar flare in amplifier terms.
It is. But the new one
does have holes on it.
And it's supposed to run not quite as hot.
Yes.
And it's going to have better components.
Yeah.
Because I think we can probably fairly comfortably say that was the issue with the original A1s. They were built to a budget.
Yeah, so we've done a riff on the original A1 on this one here.
Yes.
And we discussed its tendency to spontaneously combust in detail.
Yes.
But basically the original was designed to run at 65 degrees centigrade on the heat sinks, and for a number of reasons it often didn't. It often ran a bit hotter.
A bit, yeah.
And
put a couple of zeros after.
Thermonuclear. But over the production run, they did actually put holes on the sides for improved heating.
Yes.
Cooling not improved heating. This one is a very, very early one without the extra ventilation holes, so it's definitely the one to have.
Sure.
If you want things in your
fry
house
eggs
to catch fire.
Yes.
But seriously, the main problem with the original, as I think is commonly agreed, was the built down to a price components. It used. I think it's fair to say, I'm trying to be polite here, it didn't use the greatest and most high quality and most expensive components inside.
No.
And they tended to fail under high amounts of heat. They were less thermally stable, I think.
How ironic.
Yes. Yes, I know. You'd think that they would you put sort of heat resistant components in it, wouldn't you? Considering
Absolutely,
it's a Class A amplifier.
But we were to be fair, we were very excited about this new one coming out, and we've got one on order to review.
We have,
which is going to come fairly soon, thanks to the guys at Project.
Well, it's in the UK. It's Henley Audio.
Yes,
they're the UK distributor for Project, and of course, Project is owned by Heinz Littenegger, and
who you met at the show. And
yeah.
you had, I didn't, unfortunately, but you did.
Well, Heinz is a kind of captain of industry these days. He's got a very large brand portfolio.
Yeah,
he's got a massive factory. And makes vast amounts of, as you say, Project turntables, and various other things. He acquired Musical Fidelity, I can't remember exactly when, a couple of years ago now, and has been, he said to me in a kind of rather proud way, he said, when I bought Musical Fidelity, I didn't just buy the current line, I bought all the designs.
That's music to our ears, no pun intended, because they have done in the past some inspired products under Anthony Michelson.
Absolutely.
With some amazing Tim de Paravicini designs.
Yeah.
But
the early ones were definitely.
But if these guys can make them sing, and be reliable and all of these things, then wow, we've got some treats in store.
Absolutely.
That's a watch this space moment, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because some of those big Class A amps were phenomenally cool.
They were. Well, cool probably is the wrong phrase.
Very bad. As soon as the word came out of my mouth,
they were phenomenally hot.
Phenomenally heavy.
Yes. Yeah. No, I mean he's got a great brand.
Yes.
With an illustrious history and fun. I think the strange thing about Musical Fidelity is when Anthony Michelson ran it was that he would launch these great products and then they wouldn't last very long in the model range. So a year later they'd be replaced by something quite different.
Yes,
which
that's
may or
a fair
may
point. Actually, it's a fair point.
It's not like he kind of stuck with one product and perfected it. It's not exactly an LP12 style approach. He just flooded the market with stuff, and some of it was fantastic.
True.
And Heinz is now in the process of saying, right, what can we bring back? What can we make?
So three things really impressed us at the show. This was one of them. Mm-hmm. The other one was another Heinz product, but strangely enough, not bringing back something they've done in the past, but bringing back something someone else has done in the past.
Absolutely.
So they are going to launch a pair of
LS35As.
Can you believe it? That's just, especially after we've just reviewed the Falcon acoustics and raved about them being the best LS35As we've ever heard.
Yeah.
And then you know what the inevitable outcome is here. We're going to have to get both of them and have a listen side by side and see which we do the battle of the LS35As.
Yeah.
So
theoretically, the whole point of the LS35A
should sound the same.
It was a specification.
Yes.
And it should sound the same.
Yeah. But as we know,
absolutely, as we know,
they don't.
Yes, I mean, to a point, I think it's partly because we've heard different versions over the years, and some have been newer than others, and some have been basically like second-hand cars. They sort of wear out a bit.
Sure.
But theoretically, a brand new pair of LS35As made by Musical Fidelity should sound the same as a brand new pair made by
Rogers or anyone,
Falcon or whatever.
But they don't, do they?
Well,
they don't.
We're going to be listening very carefully, I think.
Yes. So that's going to be fascinating. So the LS35As. And we probably won't be using the A1 with the LS35As because it's probably not the greatest combination.
Agreed.
Because I just think the LS35As took a little bit more driving. Probably need one of those big old power amps, which hopefully Heinz is going to relaunch.
Yeah, or he has a large range of big power amps from Musical Fidelity
does.
already. So,
it really does.
But I mean,
I was thinking of the Class A ones.
Yeah,
the big Class A's would be amazing to see.
But at the press launch of the A1, he used the LS35As, the new Musical Fidelity LS35As.
Yeah.
And I would say they are not an optimal pair.
No.
So he really should have been using some clipshes or something with the Musical Fidelity A1.
Yes.
Big.
They're hard to drive. We've seen this, haven't we? They are hard to drive.
LS35As are hard to drive.
Yeah.
you need a muscular power amp with lots of grunt.
You do.
And that's one thing the A1 Musical Fidelity does.
No, it's like a sort of a sort of snapshot into how good a Class A amp can be.
Yeah.
But it does run out of steam.
Yes, I think it's a brilliant amp, but it's not designed for tricky loads and low sensitivity speakers. And
sure.
So the dem at the Munich show, to me, I think was underwhelming.
Yeah.
I could certainly hear the niceness and gorgeousness of the A1, but it was a little bit out of breath because it was really working hard at high volume.
Yes.
It's a large room, it's full of people as well, and it wasn't really, it sounded a little bit just like it's being pushed a bit too hard.
But that's not really the fault of the A1. It's
not at all.
The 3.5As they take a bit of speaker amplifier matching.
Absolutely. So
as you say, pre-power minimum really, isn't it?
Yeah. So. Well, he should have used a current high-end Musical Fidelity pre-power to demonstrate the other 3.5As.
Yes.
And he should have got some kind of super efficient speakers in for the A1.
Absolutely. A high current high-end speaker, high-end amplifier.
Yeah.
Yes, quite. So that's product number 2. So we've got new A1.
Yep.
3.5As.
Yep.
And then
I believe
I've got one for me. This is brilliant. Oh my gosh. £279,000 turntable. Wilson Benesch, great, but this was my showstopper.
You were very excited by it.
Oh, so chuffed to bits, and especially we'd sort of heard rumours, and to see it in the flesh was just brilliant. And I have one here, of course,
one of a limited edition of 1973.
The Naim Audio. Look at that, the Naim Audio Nait 50 in the original box.
Let's. Unbox it then, Mike.
No. You're not allowed to unbox it. It's going to stay in the box forever.
He's not unboxing it because it's his old Nate one from 1984.
You'd really struggle to tell the difference in the same way you would with the A1. But so in a nutshell, 50th anniversary of Naim Audio, and they have launched a Naim 50 to celebrate. Naim Nait 50 to celebrate, which is just fabulous. Couple of subtle changes, just like the A1. Interestingly, one being the LED light.
Yes.
So it's blue as well. Blue as well. And the original, obviously mine, is red.
Is it?
Which is the best one to have.
Never
the best one to have. And have a box as well. Anyway, so moving on. The other change is mine has a very weird balance control.
Yeah.
Which I still can't work out after how many years what on earth it actually does.
Yes.
But it's very weird. And they've replaced that with a headphone socket.
Yeah.
Whoa, great stuff. Fabulous. Which I really like, which I think is super cool.
Yeah.
Apart from that, it's pretty faithful to the design.
Yeah.
And I don't know how easy it is for us to get a Nate 50 to have a listen to. But it would be lovely to hear one.
Yeah.
And see what it's like against the original Nate.
Well, we've requested one, but it's probably not going to be very
How many did you say are being made?
1973.
Yeah, because 1973.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Absolutely.
I'd like to have one of those. I think they're coming in about £2,500.
Yeah.
I can't help but think if you had one, then it could only appreciate in value because it's going to be one, probably a great little amp.
Yeah.
But two, we're talking more than that, aren't we? We're talking history and heritage and a limited edition.
Yeah.
It's like a work of art more than an amplifier. So. Personally, I would love one. I would absolutely love one. So,
and by the way, I've got to say, the Musical Fidelity is not a limited edition. It's a normal production item.
Yes.
I don't think we can guarantee that Heinz will be making them forever.
No, sure.
But it's not
grab it while you can.
But it's not a limited edition, and I think the UK retail on the Musical Fidelity is around £1,500, which if it is what it says it is, which is basically a totally standard original A1 with better components inside, that is an absolute bargain.
It'd be great.
Yeah.
It'd be brilliant.
Yeah.
What's not to like?
Yeah.
So, and just before we finish our riff for where we went on our holidays, a special mention, I think, because Cambridge Audio had a showstopper, which was their showroom.
Yes.
So they bought a London bus with them. They bought a double-decker bus straight out of Cliff Richard, summer holiday.
Yep.
And they put all of their stuff in it, and they weren't going there to try and make a room sound great or anything like that, because it's very difficult at hi-fi shows to make a room sound good, and that's a busy show, so there's a lot of background noise. and all of this stuff.
Yeah.
So they just wheeled out this bus and they parked it right at the front of the of the exhibition centre, which is big, and just blew everyone away. And in fact, their hospitality was second to none as well. They were all so friendly and so charming, and they had all of their amazing kit, which we've reviewed and love. And so, you know, what a great thing to do. So someone in their marketing department needs a pay rise.
Absolutely. My one complaint was I went inside this bus and it didn't have unistubs in it, so so that would have been perfect. You know.
Do you know how many people are going to be googling unistubs now, thinking it's some kind of hi-fi component? Excellent.
Yeah.
But no, Cambridge guys, thank you for your hospitality. Absolutely brilliant.
They didn't actually drive it over from London either.
No, I don't think it actually ran, did it? So
all the same,
yes,
big respect. You know, we are not worthy. That's a very cool.
No,
a cunning wheeze, wasn't it?
It was. Although I must say they did promise us a beer and it never materialised, did it? So, you know, every cloud. 9 out of 10 Cambridge Audio.
Yeah. Oh well.
But no, really good show. Just on a final note, if you've never been to Munich High End, it's a brilliant show. It's incredibly well organised, very well put together.
Yeah.
But what it really did for me was it kind of reassured me that hi-fi is not dead.
No.
In any way, shape or form. From £279,000 turntables to retro products being re-released.
Yeah.
And there's a whole downstairs floor sort of committed to bits and bobs, you know, from cables to tone arms to counterweights to sockets and interconnects and God knows what. Just brilliant, and I thoroughly enjoyed it.
And also, you know, a lot of very much more affordable stuff as well.
Yes.
So we saw Uncle Mike Creek there with his new 4040 anniversary, didn't we?
Do you know what? I'm embarrassed now because that was one of the highlights.
Yeah.
And seeing Mike, who's a lovely guy, one of nature's gentlemen. And his great new product. So he had a really interesting CD transport.
Yeah.
And we've got the amp, streaming amp, which we've reviewed in a previous riff. We had a prototype, didn't we? An early one, which we loved.
Not a streaming amp, but a DAC.
A DAC amp, yes. Yeah. Beg your pardon. You're absolutely right. And a couple of other sort of interesting products coming out.
Yeah.
It's great to see Mike there, actually, and he's such a lovely bloke.
We better not mention, but
No, sure.
So, but
watch this space.
Stuff is afoot. Things are happening.
Stuff is afoot.
Yes.
Yes. Well said.
Yeah.
Well said. So look, a little bit of an unusual riff this week, but we just wanted to talk about it because it was very exciting with all these things coming out in the future, and we're looking forward to seeing them, getting them, reviewing them for you, and telling you our riff thoughts on.
And you
all
want
of this
to show off your original box for your Naim Nait as well.
Where's your original box for your A1?
I don't know. Lost it.
God, see, attention to detail. And on that note,
on that bombshell,
thank you so much once again for bearing with us, watching another episode of Mike and Dave's Hi-Fi Riff, and we'll very much look forward to seeing you at the next one. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Bye.